The updated Moderna COVID vaccine booster used in the U.S. generates significantly higher protection against the two current Omicron subvariants compared to the earlier booster. The company says that conclusion comes from a study of more than 500 people across all age ranges. The group was vaccinated with an original series of shots, boosted with Moderna's original vaccine, then boosted months later with the new version. Moderna says all people had a 15-fold increase in Omicron BA4 and BA5 antibody levels compared to the pre-booster levels. The CDC also says the BA5 strain makes up about 30% of all new COVID infections in the U.S. Emergency room visits for children having suicidal thoughts have been increasing steadily over the last several years, according to a new study published in the journal Pediatrics. The study looked at an Illinois hospital data from January 2016 to June 2021, starting well before the pandemic. The study found visits to the ER for kids with suicidal thoughts increased 59% from 2016 through 2021. Hospitalizations increased 57% just between fall of 2019 and fall the next year. During that time, more than 81,000 visits involved young people coded as having suicidal ideation. 25% of those visits led to hospital stays. Patients suffering from knee osteoarthritis may find relief from locally injected anesthesia. In a new trial, about 60 patients had their knee joints injected with either a nerve-blocking anesthetic or a placebo every 2 to 4 weeks. Most patients who received the actual anesthetic said they had less pain, though the effects did lessen over time. Stick around. Hutch is back in with one more look at your work week forecast and a cool off. I know, even colder, heading our way.